What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for our weekly Sunday morning video. The weekly recap, the week that was, and the wonderful wide world of sports cards. Today, not a ton. I mean, no real hobby news stuff. The biggest thing, really the biggest, besides all the NFL offseason stuff, which has been going crazy lately, the Watson stuff, the Mayfield stuff, Devontae Adams, that's really been the dominant thing hobby-wise. To me, the biggest zeitgeist item of the week is the Gary V stuff with V Friends and Zero Cool and the Luber and all that jazz. And boy, are people mad about that thing. Holy smokes. I have thoughts. I think I might just record a separate video on it, to be honest. But it's not for us. I don't know why a lot of sports cards people are getting super mad about this. It's not a product designed for us. Because Carlos did an excellent video on this. I would highly recommend you go check it out. Really good content creator, but did a fantastic video, and I echo a lot of his thoughts on this. So I recommend you go check that out. But my general take is I really don't care. And people seem to care a lot. Like, a lot. So, I don't know. I might do something on it for early next week. We'll see. But that's been the thing that's been the spiciest meatball in the room by a mile. It's the boxes right now are going. The last sale was $12,000 for a box. After some 10K sales, it continues to escalate. Once again, part of that's being driven by the fact that this is a super rare product. We know exactly how many boxes are in the wild. We know they're getting ripped. We know they're getting opened. The sealed wax is going to contain tremendous value, whether you agree with it or not. And I get it. Once again, I would never spend $5 on the stuff. But there's a lot of artwork that sells for $10 million a piece. Multiple millions, hundreds of thousands of dollars that I think looks like crap, but a lot of people really like it and go crazy for it. I view that as the same thing. I mean, it's art. It is what it is. I mean, if you told most people that you spent $1,000 on a business card size piece of cardboard with a man on it wearing shorts and a tank top with a number across his chest and a team name in a plastic case with a label on it that says Gem Mint, they'd probably think you're batshit crazy too. So that's where I'm at with the Zero Cool stuff. Once again, I have no vested interest in the product at all. The only thing that I was interested in is regards to how it was sold, because that is something that blind Dutch auction was the interesting part of all that. And that's how I see them selling limited release sports cards or first off the line, stuff like that. So, or whatever they end up calling it. The whole Zero Cool stuff, it's an entertainment brand. That's exactly the type of product that should be sold with a company like that. I get what they're doing. I don't have to like it. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to want to buy the product. I get it. They could put a Star Wars product out or a Marvel product out like that, and I would probably be bidding on it from the same company. So, I'm not a big art, music, social guy. I don't care about shoes and all that stuff. So I'm not going to go for stuff like that. But I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know if I need to make an own video on it or not. But that's kind of my general thought process on the Zero Cool stuff. It's not for us. It's a lot of things aren't. It's fine. It is what it is. So that's really the main thing of the week. So let's go ahead and get a quick word from our sponsor, MySlabs.com, and then we will dive into some individual charts and graphs, and that'll kind of lead us into some of the football offseason moves and all this stuff. So, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. Quick word, new video, by the way. They sent me Ken, the main man over at MySlabs.com, reached out this week and said, "Hey, we got some new B-roll footage." So let's cue that up, and then we'll be right back to dive into market movers.
The platform designed by collectors for collectors just got even better. MySlabs.com is proud to now feature dedicated sections for both raw cards and raw comic books. Browse over 100,000 slab collectibles, authenticated by the industry's most trusted grading companies. Then check out a massive selection of sealed wax and now raw singles and raw lots. Join a passionate, no-nonsense community of nearly 50,000 members and enjoy some of the best buyer and seller protection in the business. And as always, MySlabs offers one of the most disruptive pricing models in the hobby, with seller fees as low as only 1%. So the next time you're forced to pay 10%, 20%, or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com, the low-fee marketplace by collectors for collectors.
Once again, shout out to our friends over at MySlabs.com. I once again highly recommend that platform. I actually sold a couple Marvel cards on that platform just this past week from my SGC sub that I got back, that little 4-card McFarlane order. I sold a couple of those on the old MySlabs. So you can put comics on there, Marvel cards, sports cards, the whole 9 yards. So go check them out. Let's go ahead and dive into Market Movers. Link in the description down below if you want to check out the old Market Movers along with discount codes in the whole 9 yards. First up, got to do it. Talked about it last night. If you want my full thoughts on the Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson nonsense, you can watch the video that I posted last evening. Kind of giving my full thoughts. More from a fan perspective than a card perspective. But Deshaun Watson. Silver Prism, Optic Hollow, PSA 10. Kind of using these as the old baseline. Obviously, they got the big spike up on charges getting cleared, and that was basically peak prices. You could look at the 2017 here. Within a day or two, it spiked all the way up to 907. And you can actually see over the last week as the trade rumors rolled on, and as if you remember correctly, I said last Sunday I would probably sell immediately. Like I would have been selling last week just on the word of him getting cleared, because once the teams decided it would limit his options. He crept all the way down. It actually fell all the way back down to $780 and is now back up to a little over $800. I've been watching some auctions. I posted one on YouTube on the community page on Saturday morning that ended Friday night well after the trade was announced. And it's basically sitting right around $800, between $790 and $820, $830, anywhere in those numbers for his Silver Prism. So it basically has caused him to stop going down and just an ever so slight spike. And the market's kind of getting flooded with the stuff right now. Same with the Optic Hollow PSA 10. You see the same thing, peaked up. Actually still crawling up a little bit, but these are way less population. There's only 270 of these of the Optic Hollow compared to 2,300 of the Silver Prism. So we'll see what happens with these, how this continues on as weeks move on. Maybe the Browns make another addition to go along with Amari Cooper to bolster that wide receiver corps, because that wide receiver corps is still a little thin. It's basically just Cooper, Njoku, maybe Anthony Schwartz if he could turn into a little something, little DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones. There's not a lot of big name talent there other than Cooper. Cooper's really good, and Njoku has shown flashes, but can't really catch a lot, but makes some fantastic plays every once in a while. So curious to see how this all falls out. And I wonder if a lot of people were in the comments last night mentioning this, still holding their breath to see suspension news, which could be part of it, because even though he's on the Browns, he could very easily miss half the season potentially. So the flip side of the coin, Baker Mayfield. It hurts. It hurts. Actually up. Last 30 days, actually, I went a little bit past 30 days because I wanted to see the last Optic Hollow sale, and these don't sell very often. Only pop 183 on these, but they were basically flatline prior to this. But he's actually gotten a little rise in prices. This is over about the last month and a half, as speculation of him leaving the team has ramped up. His base Prism's up 20%. His base Optic is up 30%, and his Optic Hollow is up 40%. Now, I didn't use Prism Silver here because that thing's a unicorn. Anyone that doesn't realize that, it is very specific to 2018 Prisms. The silvers are nearly impossible to find, and even more nearly impossible to find in PSA 10s. So didn't include that one in here. That's why we're looking at base and a hollow, just to kind of see what the general vibe is on him. Don't know where he's going to go. A lot of people are thinking Colts. We will see. But that's the vibe on the Baker market, actually slightly upticking there just a little bit. Mitchell Trubisky. No real pure spike here, but just general climbing as the rumors of him going to Pittsburgh and then actually signing with Pittsburgh ramped up over the last week or so. And this is actually going back. I went back a little bit further because his chart has actually been a slow, steady increase versus like a one-day spike. This is going all the way back to mid-January. And you can just see slow, steady, healthy growth here on his 2017 Silver Prism and once again 2017 Optic Hollow. Since the beginning of the year, have gone way up. More than doubled in price, up 120% on the Silver Prism and 130% on the Optic Hollow. These are up to $200 and $130 right now. I'll just tell you right now, if I had Trubisky, I would probably be selling. But that's me. That's how I roll football. I don't like to hold football very long. When these low rent quarterbacks spike up like this, just sell it. Don't get cute. Every once in a while, you're going to lose. More often than not, you're going to win. So just win more often than not, and you're good to go. So just move it, and keep that money moving. That's pretty much it for football. I didn't pull like Devontae Adams stuff and all that jazz. I do think that might obviously hurt Aaron Rodgers quite a bit. I don't think it affected his prices at all, but just in regards to how it'll play out this season. But the quarterback movement's the things that drives everything. I will be curious to track Watson's prices over the next couple weeks. What does Baker's prices do depending on where he gets traded to and all that jazz. But let's hop over to baseball. Just checking in on our old pal, the Wander Franco base paper tops. PSA 10. These are up to 51 pop count. Remember when it was cute and it was a pop one? Funny stuff. Down 52% over the last month or so. This is all the way down to a $245 card now in a PSA 10. I'll be honest with you. I would want no part of this card at $245. I would want no part of this card at $145, to be quite frank. I think this is probably maybe a $75 to $125 card by midsummer, unless he just goes nutty on the league, and I just don't know that I see that happening. I like Wander Franco. He's a decent player. Like he's above decent. He's a very good player, but this is a base paper tops. Like, just calm down, everybody. And more of these are going to get submitted with the $50 PSA economy submissions. People are 100% going to be submitting these through that service. I wouldn't chase SGC 10s, nothing. Just stay away. You'll be able to buy this card back much cheaper next year. So now if you want to take raws and grades to flip or whatever, you could do that. Just know it's going to become a more and more dangerous game as time goes on. But if grading fees drop, you might be able to make a play there. Tatis, this was probably the biggest baseball news of the week, and this just sucked, man. I don't have any Tatis cards anymore. I traded them all away over the last month or two. But man, I really like him as a player, and I actually wouldn't mind getting back into some Tatis, but this just sucks. Broken wrist, out 3 months minimum, and then we'll see what happens. I have a feeling he's going to struggle all year. Wrist injuries are weird, and when guys come back from wrist injuries, they sometimes struggle through the rest of the season that they hurt the wrist in. So I could see him having a pretty up and down season potentially, even once he comes back. And then does that hurt his prices even more? I would love to buy some Tatis, but I am going to try to stay patient and see what happens. In fact, I may even wait for him to come back and see if he struggles and if that hurts his prices at all or not. So far, it has not been a huge hit. You could see here, I have his refractor up, and just for the sake of argument, I went back a full month on this just to kind of get a better feel for what's been going on. His base refractor is down to $500. That's a 15% decrease. His X-fractor is flat, but one has not sold since the 12th. So I think that was before the break, if my memory is correct. So I don't know that we have a good idea on that one. On his pink refractor, it's down 21% to 375. That's a pretty big hit. And the prism refractor is down to 610. That's a 14% hit. And once again, that was on the 12th. And I don't remember when that news broke. I think it was around that point. So that may be baked in or not. I'll be curious, once again, to see how his numbers look another week out. 7 days from now, and then 7 days from that. How do his prices continue to trend as we move closer and closer to the baseball season. As of right now, at least in the stuff that I'm looking at, am not seeing a major uptick in prices. Baseball liquidity is good, as in people are interested in buying baseball, but demand is now not outstripping supply on most players. So the prices are just kind of the prices. You know what I mean? Like nothing's really spiking to the moon or anything like that on the run up to the season. Now it's kind of weird. We had the lockout and all that. We didn't really know if there was going to be a season or if it was going to be a late start. Some people are probably still a little disenfranchised with everything. So we'll see how that all goes. But I have a feeling whoever comes out hot from the season will see increases. We will find out. I've seen a lot of interest in Vlad's stuff. I picked some up myself, but the Blue Jays continue to load up that lineup, and that team could be scary. I like that team quite a bit. I've been really wanting to get some nice Bo Bichette, but every time I try, it just is unsuccessful. So the quest continues on that one, but I'll be very interested to see, like, if Soto would come out hot. Oh man, look out. I've been keeping the wad dry on my fun money pile. I've talked about this before, is rebuild again. And I could go out and buy a PSA 9 first Bowman Soto right now if I wanted one, but I think I'm going to roll the dice and wait to get in season and see, if he just has, like, we all know how this goes. If players don't live up to the massive expectations that we put on them in the card market during these off seasons, their prices decrease. And I see that potentially happening with Soto, even as good as he is. It's just kind of like the natural beast. So I might wait and get in season and see if his stuff dips a little bit. Continuing on to Tatis, I did also pull his first Bowman. Once again, I went back 2 months on this because these just don't sell as often. This is the PSA 10. It is down 30%. It was all the way up to 6K. It's down to 4.25 with a fairly recent sale. PSA 9 is flat or up slightly at 13%, but don't judge that by that number. That was on the 7th. That is 100% pre-injury. So we'll see where that settles out at. And then the BGS 9.5 just very recently at 2,700. So that appears to be trending down a little bit. Once again, we will see how those numbers float out as we move throughout another week. Let's switch over to basketball really quick. The big winner of the week is good old Jordan Poole, PSA 10 Silver Prism. Steph Curry got hurt this week with a foot injury, potentially out until the start of the playoffs, which is a little dicey for the Warriors. So Jordan Poole's getting all sorts of buzz, and his stuff shot up quite a bit this week. PSA 10 went from 176 to 315, up 80% in a hurry. I'm not real big on Jordan Poole long term. This is one of those things where take advantage of the market. If you got in cheap, or maybe you bought high at the beginning of the season, this is your exit point. Maybe even if you lose a little bit of money on it. Could there potentially be a higher number if he had a big game in the playoffs or something? Sure, but I tend to be fairly risk adverse. I would gladly take a break even or a profit here, depending on when you got into Jordan Poole, and just move along. Next up, let's take a little look. I'm going to use this as an example, the old John Morant. We'll take a look at the old John Morant. This is his fast break blue out of 175, and I went back quite a ways on this one, all the way back to October, to the beginning of the season. His stuff is trending slightly up, like his normal baseline stuff. His high-end stuff is going bananas. And we've been seeing this across a lot of collectibles. This isn't necessarily limited to just sports cards, but on the Marvel stuff, we've seen this. I've been noticing it in comic books as well. The extreme high end is performing very well and seeing large price increases. The mid to low end is doing okay if the player's hot, but it's not performing like the top end is. And like I said, I just pulled this jaw as an example. This was $3,200 to start the season and is all the way up to 7K now. And I can just talk about this from an own personal perspective. I have that jaw red Contenders Optic Auto. When the season started, that was around a $1,200 or $1,500 card. The last two comps, and there's two very recent sales on that card, are both over $3,000. There's a $3,200 and a $3,100, I think. That sort of stuff on the John Morant market is really going strong. So, and you're kind of seeing this across the board with that, I don't want to say elite, but the ultra high end. And not that a Contender's Optic is ultra high end, that's like NT flawless, but those upper tier products on a hot player are still performing extremely strong. It's the middle of the road stuff that's just kind of floating. perfect example. His Silver Prism PSA 10. Still slightly trending up, which in this market is good. And Ja has been on absolute fire. The interesting thing here is, though, for the first time in a while, getting slightly outpaced by Zion. We see Zion Silver Prism up 14%, Ja up 6%, and their prices have closed the gap again, $17.75 versus $17.50. And you can see this gap was much wider. Zion's getting a little bit of buzzy. There's been a little bit of talk about, like, oh, he's back with the team. He might have dropped 20 or 30 pounds. And I'm not going to lie, if he comes back and looks good, his stuff will probably spike up. There's probably a play to be made there if you like to be a little bit riskier in regards to picking up some Zion for a potential quick flip if he comes out of the gates fast. I still don't know if we're going to see him this season or not. I really don't. We are running out of games very quickly. And I don't know what the Pelicans' motivation would be to bring him back. I mean, I know that they're kind of in the playoff hunt for a play-in game, but there's maybe 15 games left in the season? Regular season, give or take? I know that sounds crazy, doesn't it? There's like a little over a dozen games left in the NBA regular season. We're going to be in the NBA playoffs before you know it. Just kind of keep that in the back of your head. It's really sneaking up on, at least it's sneaking up on me, I feel like. And that's someone that lives and breathes with every Cavs game. So, but Zion definitely getting a little buzzy buzz around the old Zion, man. Last but not least, I just kind of wanted to peek in and check on Luka. The Mavericks have been playing absolutely fantastic. Luka playing absolutely fantastic as well. This is over the last 30 days. This is a silver PSA 10 Prism and PSA 9. Both actually trending backwards. Down 10%, down 30%. I could tell you right now, his Optic Hollow is doing pretty good, at least the 9s. A 10 hasn't sold for a hot minute. But his 9 prices on Optic Hollows actually jumped up a little bit. The only reason I know is because I have one, and I watch, I check in on a regular on my collection tool in the Market Movers app, and I saw, there's like a price movements by card thing you could pull for that shows you what of your specific cards are doing for a given time period. And I noticed that jumped way up with a couple sales, about $100 to $150 to $200 more than what they were going for. So just found that kind of interesting that his Optic Hollow is getting a little bit of buzz. But even as well as Luka and the Mavericks are playing, his Silver Prism not reacting to that at all. So that's all I have for you guys and girls today. Content for this week. The only thing I 100% know of, is I have a PSA submission video that's already recorded. It was going to go up Friday, but I got pushed. The only other thing on my radar for this week is I am, as of right now, as of recording this on Saturday night, I am planning on attending the Shipshawana show again in Indiana this coming week. I will be, most likely my plan is to attend trade night on Friday night and then the show on Saturday and then come home. Nice 175 table show. Really enjoyed the last time that I was out there. So planning on heading up there Friday after work. It's about a 4-hour drive for me. Hit that trade night and then hit the show the next day and then make the trip back home. Don't really know what I'm looking for. I came real close to going to the Chicago show this weekend, actually, but didn't pull the trigger on it. I did go to, which I should talk about this at the beginning. I went to the Card Collector 2 trade night on Friday night. Had a good time there. Saw a lot of my friends from that area and some people from up my way that made the trip down. Talked to Ryan for like a super hot second. He's always really busy at trade nights. Only made one trade, sold a Marvel card and traded for a Ja Morant auto. Spoilers, or if you follow me on IG, you already saw it. But I'll probably save that. I have a mail package coming tomorrow, which this will probably be a video too. I bought something off the man, the myth, the legend, Kenny Fornos. So that is coming in the mail. I have another card that I got and then that trade. So we'll probably do a little mail day / pickup video early part of this week. But that's all I got for you guys and girls. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment down below if you got any questions or concerns. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.